Hi, everyone. I'm so excited today to share with you these two beautiful sisters. Oh my gosh, it's such an honor that you're both here. Like, what a treat. So what I'm going to talk about today is that how you both joined this distant group session together. Did you know you were both signed up for this session together?
Yes.
You emailed me, Lee, and then you emailed me, Lois. Listening to both of you say some of the similar things is fascinating. One of the things is you both felt in this session and several sessions that beam of light coming into the solar plexus, and then it held you down this time. I'll let you each describe what you felt. Lee, will let you go first.
Okay. And this happens every time. And it started when I started doing private sessions with you. I did those before I did the group healings. And it's this pressure, but it's so pleasant. And I just feel like it's just this weight that comes in. It feels like, oh, I'm being held, and I just want to be held in that energy.
And Lois, how would you describe it?
It's very similar for me, but this particular time, I was laying in the guest room on the bed, so the sun was on my entire body, but it felt like it was really only on my solar plexus. And I, just like Lee, felt I couldn't move. I felt my limbs were made of lead, but I didn't mind that. I didn't want to move. And it felt completely so comfortable. I felt very safe, very safe.
I'm feeling the same thing. So when you listen to the recording and you hear me go, well, I'm feeling like I can't move. And now when you listen to it, are you still feeling that way again?
I do. I have completely different healing experiences each time I listen to the recording. And this time was very unique to doing the spiritual journey, because I've done spiritual journeys in my private healings with you. But it's every time now when I listen to it, the spiritual journey is different.
And what I find interesting is the growth that I see with you, because in the beginning, everything was new. And then as you've attended more and more, all of a sudden it's instant. You're instantly seeing that light. You're instantly being held. You're instantly feeling medicine going in. You're so connected with me. And having you both here, hearing this, it's really showing us you're living in different states, right? I'm so far from you. And yet we're all feeling the same and how we're all connected as one. Lois, do you want to say anything about that?
I feel very connected to Lee. I felt like she was like in the room with me. When we went up to the room, up the stairs, I felt like she was right next to me. And then when we danced and held hands, everybody got in a circle and held hands and danced, I felt the joy from the whole session, but also from my sister. I felt like we were together. It was the coolest thing.
Each session's different. We never know what's going to transpire. But in this session, God took on a spiritual journey to walk up these beautiful white stairs. And what you didn't know is this session, of all sessions, I don't always put you next to each other. I very rarely do I kind of trust where I feel spirits guiding me. Like I might think, oh, somebody has intestinal issues, somebody has a heart issue, and I put them on my body where it needs to be. I placed you side by side. So Lee, explain your experience with this.
I ran up those steps. I just couldn't wait. But then I'm standing next to Lois. It was like we were standing right next to each other. And there was so much light around us. And then looking at our lineage, it was so easy for Mom and Dad to be right in front of us. Oh, so that was the coolest thing, is that we're like, yeah, here we are. Because both of them are deceased, of course, but it was just like we're standing in front of them at a completely different level.
Lee, you described when you saw your mom that you saw her so vivid.
Oh, like right, like she was like right in front of me. That was really intense.
Did they look happy to you?
Oh, absolutely glowing. Absolutely. Well, filled with light but that different eye contact, that a different knowing, like when she and I were looking at each other, it was from such a deep level that it was, I still get chills when I think about
Like a spiritual level. So,
absolutely nonverbal. It was
but you
all,
knew that if you could speak, it was all through your mind, right?
and we did communicate. It was just that neither one of our mouths were moving.
How did it feel seeing her, like seeing your loved one?
When I saw Mom, it was like a communication of our relationship that she and I had. This was the time where she was like, go, like really expand yourself, like let go. She felt inhibited in her life. So there was this communication of, you just be you, you do your best self as far as no limitations. It was so profound. For she wanted a different life. She talked about that with me. She raised 7 kids in 10 years. She would have loved to have had a professional life. She really didn't like change. A fear of having to lose connection with her kids. And I feel like that got instilled in me. But she was like, you have to let that go. You have no idea, the potential that you can have.
And did you?
It is shedding.
Beautiful, beautiful. Lois, you saw your mom or your dad?
I saw my dad and my dad's family. And right up front was my dad with his 2 brothers who also served in World War II together. And they were in their uniforms. My dad said, you don't need to fight anymore, because I just retired from a long-term career of about 40 some years. Like, you can lay down your arms now and just be you, kind of thing.
Oh,
And I
wow.
don't, you don't have to be a professional anymore. You don't have to do that stuff anymore. You can just take care of your soul and be you, and I love that message.
They were putting the uniform on as a way of saying, we protect you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Interesting how you both kind of heard the same words of just be you. And how many times do we label ourselves, right? With,
No.
my career is my status. This is who I am. And then we lose that when we all of a sudden retire like you did and go, well, who am I? Right? That was my label for so many years. But he was saying, now you get to be you, who you were created to be, the magnificent you. What a beautiful message. Interesting how one was talking to mom, one was talking to dad, side by side. So they're right in front of you. And then at the end, we danced in celebration. And I think it wasn't our ancestors weren't there at that time. I think it was just our group was there dancing. Describe what you both felt.
Well, Lois and I have danced a lot together. So, over the years. And it was just this unbridled joy, just the whole feeling that freedom of, outside of any constraints from any of the physical struggles we're having. It's just so fun to look over and, hey, Lois. But it was also like, now look where we're dancing, because we went to college together, we roomed together, we went to bars and danced. Lois dragged me to a lot of music. She's a music person, so we did so much dancing, but it was like, look at where we are now.
Felt it though. You both felt that you were next to each other. You both felt that you were dancing together.
Yeah.
Well, you want to know what's really cool is that we had talked a few days before the group healing session. And the last thing Lee said to me when we hung up, she said, "See you dancing."
Really?
Where?
Oh, I got chills.
I know.
That's
that-
amazing.
Cool. Yeah.
So I was able to watch it all, and I just felt the joy.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, now we have to go down the stairs and come back home. You know, do we have to leave?
For me, my vision was like I could see just that line, that just expansive line of ancestors.
Yeah.
That
That's
was
exactly what I saw. I saw like you guys all lined up, right? So we're all standing in a row. So, and then in front of us would be a line, but it would be a little ways away. And you might have somebody that you recognize in the front, but then it goes so many behind that person. Is that what you saw?
I did. And for me, I could see light coming, like from me, connecting through them, and then all the way through that, like a big light string.
I
that
got
connects.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just how you described it, Debra. I think in your words, I think that's exactly what the vision you were getting. And I felt that so big too. And I couldn't even see the end of that line.
No, I couldn't see them either, but they were all illuminated in light. Everyone that was there for love.
Mhm. Well, and I thought was interesting. My mom was an only child, and my dad was, I think, 9 kids in 10 in the family.
Mhm.
And dad, and this is just a funny observation that dad's line was a lot longer than mom's, even though mom's went out. But I looked and like dad's just kept going.
Oh yeah.
It was.
So you
It was
both
just.
saw that. You both saw both parents' lines.
Mhm.
It's
Oh,
cute.
that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just a funny. I just made that mental note to myself.
So when spirit God gives me these visions and takes us there, it's like you can't make this up.
No.
Like, and the words come through so fluently. But that here you two sisters had the same experience talking to the opposite parent, the mother, the father, and then you were able to share that with each other, share that with me. It's miraculous. It's like what we're doing is far greater than what we could even imagine we could do. And we now can have the testimonial thinking, pinch me. I didn't imagine that.
Right. That's right. That's right. And we're on opposite sides of the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And yet we're all connected as one. So you've also been touched healing wise. So we're talking as a spiritual journey, and the spiritual journey, your body is still being healed at the same time, but you are being healed by the words that you were hearing from your parents. Those words heal the physical. Can you explain anything that you may have been dealing with at the time and how you feel today? I'll let Lee go first.
I've been, interestingly enough, had bouts of intestinal disheveling. And I went through another stage of that. And it really is about what I'm taking in. I feel like it's also the message of being careful what I take in.
Digesting life.
Yeah, that's right. And what energy, what am I holding on to that's no longer necessary? Or what did I take in that wasn't helpful, that isn't helpful? And that has subsided from this healing to more of a healed state.
Lois, what would you say?
Actually, after the session, some intestinal issues, but it was a kind of a severe reaction. But then it only lasted for 2 days. Then I was back to normal. So I really think it was just that whole message of get rid of things you don't need and be who you are. Find who you are and be you, the best you, and eliminate things you don't need. Another really interesting thing that happened is like opening up channels to hear things more clearly.
Is you listen to the recording and it gives you a different message each time.
Yeah, well, I still do every morning when I get up and have my coffee, I light a candle. So it's that, okay, I'm connecting to spirit this morning. I always make those affirmations.
It's
So
beautiful.
it's so neat to see Lee and you and us together. I really appreciate that.
Well, we get to do it monthly, but not like this, right?
That's right. That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much, you guys.
Well, thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
so much,
Debra.
everybody. Bye now.